गोपीजनो वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य ISKCON BBT founded Archers Divine Slavhoy Charanam Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Shri Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Shakhi Vrinda Shriman Mahaprabhu Shri Shri Panchatattva Pavitra Shri Prahlad Narasimhadev Shri Mayapur Chandra ki jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Vansha Kalpataruvyasya Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kamkarti Vachara Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 25th. Chapter 25th, text number 16. The chapter entitled as The Glories of Devotional Service. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamati Right. Aham mama abhimāna utthaiḥ kāma lobha ādibhiḥ malaiḥ vītam yadā manaḥ śuddham aduḥkham asukham samam ahaṁ mamābhimānotthaiḥ kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ vītaṁ yadā manaḥ śuddham aduḥkham asukham samam. Yes. ahaṁ mamābhimānotthaiḥ kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ vītaṁ yadā manaḥ śuddham aduḥkham asukham samam. kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ vītaṁ yadā manaḥ śuddham aduḥkham asukham samam. Any Matajis? ahaṁ mamābhimānotthaiḥ kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ vītaṁ yadā manaḥ śuddham aduḥkham asukham samam. ahaṁ, I, mama, mine, abhimāna, from the misconception, utthaiḥ, produced, kāma, lust, lobha, greed, ādibhiḥ, and so on, malaiḥ, from the impurities, vītam, freed, yadā, when, manaḥ, the mind, śuddham, pure, aduḥkham, without distress, asukham, without happiness, samam, equipoised. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: when one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. Purport. Kama and lobha are the symptoms of material existence. Everyone always desires to possess something. It is said here that desire and greed are the products of false identification of oneself with the body. When one becomes free from this contamination, then his mind and consciousness also become freed and attain their original state. Mind, consciousness, and the living entity exist. Whenever we speak of the living entity, this includes the mind and consciousness. The difference between conditional life and liberated life occurs when we purified the mind and the consciousness. I repeat, the difference between conditional life and liberated life occurs when we purify the mind and the consciousness. When they are purified, one becomes transcendental to material happiness and distress. In the beginning, Lord Kapila has said that perfect yoga enables one to transcend the platform of material distress and happiness. How this can be done is explained here. One has to purify his mind and consciousness. This can be done by the Bhakti Yoga system. As explained in the Narada Pancharatra, one's mind and senses should be purified. Tat paratvena nirmalam. One's senses must be engaged in devotional service to the Lord. That is the process. The mind must have some engagement. One cannot make the mind vacant. Of course, there are some foolish attempts to try to make the mind vacant or void, but that is not possible. The only process that will purify the mind is to engage it in Krishna. The mind must be engaged. If we engage our mind in Krishna, naturally the consciousness becomes fully purified and there is no chance of the entrance of material desire and greed. Ahaṁ mamābhimānotthaiḥ kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ vītaṁ yadā manaḥ śuddham aduḥkham asukham samam. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. So, here Lord Kapila, while explaining the glories of devotional service, very wonderfully points out the root cause of the suffering of the jivas. He says, ahaṁ mamābhimānotthaiḥ. So utthaiḥ is produced. And what is produced? What is the product? The product is kāma-lobha. Kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ. Kāma, lobha and so on. So the mala are the kāma and lobha. Desire and lust, desire and greed. So these are products. But interestingly, Srila Kapil Dev, he didn't start the problem with kāma-lobha. He starts with the root cause. The root cause is ahaṁ mamābhimāna. The sense of I and mine is the original cause. Just like when there is fever, we know that there's some infection is there. So the problem is infection, not the fever. Fever is the symptom of that original problem. Similarly, lust, greed, and so on are the symptoms of this disease. What is that disease? The disease is not lust and greed. The disease is ahaṁ mamābhimāna. Thinking that this body, I am this body, and anything belongs to me is mine. Anything belongs to this body is mine. So that is the root cause. So this is very important point to be noted. Generally, we try to fight against lust and greed without understanding what is the real cause of that lust and greed. Lust and greed doesn't just appear like that. It comes from man, that abhimāna, this body, and the things which belongs to this body, our assumption that these are the things belongs to this body. So from there comes kāma and lobha. So what is the root cause? The cause is, so this is a causal chain actually. From ahaṁ mama, then comes kāma-lobha, and then mala. It is called as mala. And then yadā manaḥ śuddham, when the mind becomes purified. The previous phrase says, these are the malaha. Mala means dirt, dirty things. So when the mind is cleansed of the dirty things, then it becomes śuddham. And when the mind is śuddham, yadā manaḥ śuddham, then aduḥkham, asukham, samam. So this is a complete journey from contamination to purification. So the root cause of contamination is that I, thinking that I am this body. Who am I? I am this body. And then anything which connected with my body, I try to hold on to it, lobha. Because this is my body, then I desire to get something, kāma. And we want to hold on, and therefore it is dirty things. And therefore finally there is duḥkham, because I want it, and then I want to retain it, but it is unretainable. So natural consequences is duḥkham, sufferings. So if we understand this one verse, this one text has given the symptom, the cause and symptom, and also the solution. So one verse solution. Kapil Dev is just like the perfect doctor, diagnosing the root cause of the disease and then also giving the prescribing the medicine of the disease. So as Srila Prabhupada said in the purport, that everyone always desires to possess something. That is the problem. We want to possess. Sometimes we think that I have something, these possessions are my problems. When we feel distressed, frustrated, then I think because of these things I am getting frustrated or I am suffering. But actually, if we look into it very deeply, the possessions are not the problems. Anybody can possess anything. As soon as we come in this material world, we take a body, there are so many things automatically gets related with our body. Just like when we take this human form of life, or any form of life actually, in any bodies, there are parents, father and mother, and then there is wife and husband, then children, and naturally there is griha, apta, kshetra, so many things are there, house, then land, so many occupational duties also come in our life. So these are various possessions one can have in their life. So and then we also have the desire to possess many more things. And then once we possess it, and we try to hold on to it. That is called possessiveness. So problems are not actually the possessions. Problem is with the possessiveness. We think that this belongs to me. The more we become possessive, the harder the pain is going to hurt you. If you see that sometime when you go to market, the shopkeeper will put the grocery in the plastic bag, and they'll tie it. And sometimes the knot is so hard that when you come back home you cannot open it easily. And finally there is no other solution left than to cut it, because the knot was so hard. So if we create that hard knot, then tomorrow we are going to be in pain, in suffering, because the knot was created by me. So therefore the intelligent persons, they understand the root cause of the disease is that infection. And what is that infection? The sense of I and mine is the infection. So we have to strike, we have to fight against that root cause, not only the lust and greed. Lust and greed comes from that source. So, if we see from a external level, from our daily life, then there are possessions like, okay, my husband, my wife, my children, my house, my properties, my bank balance, and after many years of practicing Krishna consciousness, still today, till today we face the difficulties. We are still disturbed. After practicing Krishna consciousness for so many years, I should have improved myself to the extent that I will not feel disturbed. So there are disturbances. So as long as there are disturbances in life, then we must think of it. Why am I disturbed? Even after so many years of practicing Krishna consciousness. Because there are hidden, very subtle hidden vestige of this I and my feelings. We may join into Krishna consciousness and we can tell that, okay, I know philosophically, theoretically, I know that this world does not belong to me, nothing belongs to me. But what happens when a small glass falls into the floor and it gets broken, then I feel hurt. One time a devotee, he has been practicing for many years, and another devotee guest came to his house, and after he took some juice on the cup, the guest went to the sink basin to wash that, and accidentally it fell from his hand and it got broken. That glass, that cup was gifted by some good friend of that person, the host, and there are a lot of memories into it. And when it got broken, the host devotee was immediately, his face was tightened and he was shocked in his heart. Oh, my glass. And he felt pain in his heart that this glass has broken. And the guest devotee was also felt very much embarrassed, and he had so much of guilty feeling, oh, I have broken this glass. Interestingly, after a few moments, the devotee who has been practicing for many years, he could come back to his senses, and he said that, anyway, after all, it's a glass only, it's a cup only. So there is no serious loss in that. I have lost nothing, just a glass. So he told the devotee, it's okay, please don't worry, please don't feel guilty for that, and it was a simple cup. That's it. So later on, when the devotee left the house, the guest, the host devotee he sat alone and he was thinking, what happened to me? After 30 years of practicing, and that glass, the small glass or the cup has fallen, and I felt like, it's pain in my heart. So then he was thinking that what was that caused pain so much? Was it the glass or something else? So then he contemplated, he reflected, then he realized that it was not only that glass, it was the feelings of mine, my memories, my feelings, my emotions, which is involved with that glass. So it was not that glass which had actually affected him, it was that feelings of mine, those sweet memories or whatever, which caused him pain. So Kapil Dev very excellently here is actually perfectly pointed out that this aham mama is the root cause. Sometimes we also see in our devotional life that I have been serving say for example one department for a long time, and suddenly everything was fine and perfect, or it was going on nicely, and the higher authority comes and say that, Prabhu, please now step down, we have some other person to give that service. So then the next day I start to feel so much pain, because why am I being out of that service now? And mind is disturbed, chanting is not in good quality now, no attention and no concentration while chanting japa, while offering arati, while thinking of Krishna. I can't do that because mind is so much disturbed, because something has been taken away from me. So after some time, when we sit alone in front of Krishna and we reflect on what happened, then I think, was that actually the service that is really causing me pain, that I lost the service, or is it something deeper, something subtler? Because anyway the service is going on. Someone else is being appointed for the service. So what is that? What is causing me pain for that? Then the devotee who is thinking, gradually few drops of tears comes out, and he realizes that it is Krishna's arrangement. Krishna did not want me to take me out of that service, but he actually wanted to reveal what is there in my heart. It's not that I'm not actually feeling for the service. I am feeling for that. I did not actually. Then I realized that I didn't actually serve my service. I did not actually serve Krishna. I actually served my position in that service. That is what I actually was serving. So then mind becomes much lighter. The extra burden which I have been carrying for a long time, I can leave that alone, leave that behind, and move on and take some other service, or if possible try to assist on the service. With the same service I can assist, not as a main phase there, but I can do whatever little service possible. I can assist the devotees. So in that way, it is very subtle in our life. As practicing devotees also, sometimes we think, my position, my service, it is mine. And many times we forget that we are actually the thing which is actually like that glass. It is not the glass which was broken. It is the very deep-rooted attachment with that glass was broken. So when the hard-hitting statements of scriptures and sadhu hurts us, we generally tend to point finger towards that source which is being the cause, apparently the cause of my pain, means that person or that statement. But we don't look inside usually that what he is saying. Is he really trying to help me? Just like Arjuna, when he was in tears, in complete tears, and his body was shivering, such a terrible condition. And seemingly it was like so much love, affection for his family members. But this love and affection, when Arjuna said that, in the first chapter Arjuna said, Drishta imam swajanam Krishna. Oh Krishna, I can see my friends, my family members, they are my swajana. Swajana. Swa means self. My jana. So problem is, what is that my? That my, swa means this body. He was thinking this body, all these people are connected with my body, so they are my swajana. But actually, what is swa? What is the self? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that. Jiver Sharupāya Krishnir Nityadash. So if there is anything which we can call as swa, is only Krishna. Only Krishna. Krishna is mine, I am Krishna's. And nothing else other than Krishna can be mine. So Arjun was saying that Drishta imam swajanam Krishna. Oh Krishna, I can see all my friends and relatives, in the first chapter. And in the beginning of second chapter, Krishna said, Kutastha kashmalamidam. Kutastha kashmalamidam. Arjuna was saying, they are my swajana. Drishtimam sajanam. Krishna said, Kutastha kashmalam. Swajanam is my man and kashmala is garbage. What Arjuna was thinking as my man, my people, Krishna said they are simply garbage. Kashmala is dirty things, just like as mala. Mala and kashmala is same meaning. Dirty things. So Krishna said, where from these dirty things got accumulated in your heart? But Arjuna's feeling was that they are my man, my relatives. So Krishna's statement was hard-hitting. When somebody thinks this is mine, and someone thinks, hey, what are you holding on to? This is only some garbage from the dustbin. Please get relieved of it. So we can't accept it. So therefore the real test of Krishna consciousness is that finally, whether we are being freed from this so-called attachment, so-called near and dear things which actually cause the attachment for the living entities. These are the mala. Kāma-lobhādibhir mala. This mala, this dirty thing should be cleansed. And finally, after hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, then Arjuna said, yes, I am ready to fight. Whatever you will instruct me, I'll do that. This is Shama stage. Aduḥkham, asukham, samam. He went up beyond the dukkha and the dualities of sukha and dukkha. Just like when you are on the surface level of the ocean, the waves will disturb you because you are on the surface level. But an intelligent person, an expert swimmer, he will go down deep. So in depth there is peace, there is shama, there is no disturbance of the waves. So this so-called material happiness and distress, it is very interesting to note that Krishna didn't only say aduḥkham, he also said asukham. You should go also beyond the happiness, not only beyond the distress, beyond the happiness. Because this happiness and distress are actually, which is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita in 2.14, this is a matra sparsha. This happiness and distress are not real happiness and distress. This appears as happiness and distress. Yehi sangsparshaja bhoga dukkha yono evate. When we touch, when we come in contact with these sense objects, we feel that this will give me happiness, but it finally ends up with distress. So therefore Krishna said, even if you go beyond the dukkha and you try to stay always happy, materially happy, that's not going to solve your problem. So go beyond that. Go beyond that. So this is what happened with Arjuna. Initially he was disturbed by sukha and dukkha, the temporary feelings, and he went beyond. Prahlad Maharaj was externally tortured, but internally situated. And because of his internal spiritual situation, the external disturbances could not actually disturb him. So we have to think that what is actually disturbing to me? the actual cause, the real cause of disturbance is the feelings of me and mine, I and mine. I am this body, and therefore anything related to this body is mine. So we have to go beyond that. kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ. And what is the process? Vītaṁ yadā manaḥ śuddham vītam. Vītam means when we beyond that, just like vīta raga bhaya krodha. Vīta, we are freed from that. So vītam yadā manaḥ śuddham, when mind becomes shuddha. So that cleansing process is bhakti yoga, as Prabhupada told in Bhagavatam. And bhakti yoga starts from where? The beginning point is shravanam, shrinnatam shakatha, Krishna punna shravana kirtana. So from there bhakti yoga starts, hearing. So Srila Prabhupada on this verse 3:25:16, he has given one lecture. Just few days back, coincidentally I was hearing this lecture, and then I saw this verse is given to me. So I recall that Srila Prabhupada was telling there, at least 5 to 6 times Prabhupada said in that lecture, simply by hearing, you can go beyond. You can go beyond this. And simply by hearing you can receive, you can attain transcendental bliss. Srila Prabhupada was stressing on that point so many times. Simply by hearing, the process of hearing. And this is very practical also. You will notice that when you are disturbed by something in this material world, somebody has told you something and you're mentally agitated, you take one headphone and play one katha from Srila Prabhupada or your favorite speaker, whatever, kirtan or katha, and then you will see that the external sounds are not disturbing you. Just like when I'm holding on to my ears, you try that now. Try it. Hold your ears and see. You will not hear the external sound. Now you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. This sound is going to reverberate inside. So external things can't disturb us when we take shelter of, immediate shelter of Krishna Katha. The most powerful item, the most powerful process, hearing and chanting. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of 1.2.16, this is 25:16, that is 2:16. 1.2.16, Prabhupada writes, the last sentence of the purport is, the first qualification for one to go back home, back to Godhead, is to have attachment for hearing. I am paraphrasing, but it is there. The first qualification, this is the first and foremost qualification, to get attachment for hearing. And we see that in the most precarious situation of Parikshit Maharaj, he took shelter of hearing, Shravanam. So only Krishna Katha can make us that. Madashraya katham rishta, shrinnanti kathayanti cha, tapanti vividha stapa, noitan madgata chetasha. In this same chapter, I think, Gopal Dev has told that. You take shelter of my Katha by the process of hearing. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada told in the Papa, don't keep your mind void, empty. Empty mind will disturb you. Just like when the house is empty, there are a lot of chances that thieves will come. Thieves will enter and then loot you. But if the house is occupied, then thieves cannot come because people are already there. So mind should not be vacant, should not be void. It should be always filled with Krishna. That is the process. So the so-called Gyanis, they try to practice voidism, make everything empty. You cannot make everything empty. Just imagine you take one small cup or some plastic bag, and you try to make it air-free. How difficult it is. Because every time there is a lot of chance that air may enter. But if you want to put something into it, then that is very easy. You can put anything into it. But to make it completely vacant is very difficult. So to make the mind void and empty is extremely difficult. Krishna also told that in Bhagavad Gita, kleshaho adhikatarastesha, in the 12th chapter. It is very difficult to make the mind empty. Rather you feel it. When you feel it with Krishna, then you can feel Krishna. When you feel with Krishna, then you feel Krishna. The first one is F-I-double-L, the next one is F-E-F-double-E-L. So you feel, then you can feel. But if you don't feel with Krishna, then the material feelings will be there. And these material feelings will simply torment us so much that we'll feel unconscious. Sometimes the sufferings of the material world, when the people speak harsh to us, we feel like, what is the value of my life? Why am I surviving? It is better to give up my life. Just by some statement. Some words can hurt so much. So if the word has that much power, then why don't we take the advantage of Krishna's words? Let us feel with Krishna's words. And when the mind is filled with Krishna Katha, then there is no problem. So Srila Prabhupada had given the example in that lecture of that Madhashraya Kathamrishta verse. Prabhupada told about Stalin. President Stalin, the Prime Minister or President, whatever, the Stalin, when he was, one time he was taken to OT, Operation Theatre, and the doctor wanted to give him anesthesia. Srila Prabhupada told that he didn't take anesthesia. He said he was so much absorbed in the thoughts of communism that he didn't need any anesthesia. So Prabhupada told, if he can do that, then why you can't do it with Krishna? So we can become anesthetic. So devotees are so sensitive to Krishna that they become insensitive to the material sufferings. Material sufferings are there, or these dualities are there. Sometimes happiness, sometimes sufferings are there, but they become insensitive because they are highly sensitive to Krishna. That is the solution. So if we feel our mind with Krishna, here Prabhupada several times mentioned our mind and consciousness. As long as the consciousness is contaminated, just like when there is contamination, you will be caught by some disease. So if there is no contamination, no disease. So what is that contamination? Ahaṁ. So that contamination has to be treated. And the process is Krishna Katha. There's such a powerful limb it is. Therefore bhakti begins with Shravana. Hearing from the bona fide authorities. Hearing from the realized persons. When we listen to Krishna Katha, then it enters into our heart. If it enters into our heart, not just with our ears. We have ears, Krishna has given us ears, and the purpose of ear is to hear. The purpose of ear is to hear. If we don't hear, if we don't listen, if we don't take it inside our heart, then how the cleansing process will be started? Therefore, Cheto Darpana Marjanam starts with Shravana Kirtana. There is no other method. Other methods cannot help you much. Yes, there are different limbs of bhakti, for example, deity worship and some service, many other things are there. But the most powerful thing is Shravana Kirtana. Shravana means Kirtana is also there because somebody is doing Kirtana, therefore there is Shravana. So if one is intelligent enough, he should take this process of Shravana Kirtana. So as I was saying that Srila Prabhupada several times in the same class he told us, simply by hearing. Then Srila Prabhupada said, therefore we are giving this opportunity in our temples. Come here and hear. Come here and hear about Krishna. Then you will become purified. So in many places Srila Prabhupada mentioned about that, emphasizing, stressing on this point of Shravana Kirtana. So temples are meant for Shravana Kirtana. We are doing so many things. There are a lot of activities within the temple. But please do not forget the real purpose of temples. We shouldn't forget the real purpose of whole Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore it is called Krishna consciousness movement. Krishna consciousness, not just doing some activities. It is consciousness. The consciousness has to be purified. Chitta has to be purified. And that chitta purification can only be done through the process of hearing and chanting. Other things are there. You'll see, if you can do some service, and people may come and appreciate you. Oh, Prabhu, you have done such a nice service, and we'll give you some medallions, they will garland you, and your name is there on the list, so many things. But if you do other service, then it is visible. They can see it, they can appreciate it. But there is only one place where you cannot even boast. Nobody can say, I am a good listener. He is hearing. Of course, if one is so degraded that he wants to get pride from everything, he can do that. But generally, hearing, if somebody is sitting and hearing, then nobody will come, oh, you are sitting for a long time, thank you, we'll give you a medallion. Nobody will tell like that, usually. So it is the most powerful process by hearing. One thing it actually strikes my mind a lot about Srila Prabhupada's schedule. You'll see wherever he traveled, many things he did, like management and like taking care of temple management or advising the GVCs or whatever. But one thing he never missed. Wherever he traveled, morning Bhagavatam class or some Krishna Katha in the evening, that was there. He was writing letters, instructing his disciples. So Krishna Katha was always there, always there. So therefore, this is something which is unavoidable, inseparable part of Krishna consciousness. So we should not be, we shouldn't be reluctant or lazy about it. About Shravana and Kirtana, there is one quote where Srila Prabhupada mentions that without Shravana Kirtana, our temples will remain like a skeleton. There is no real life into it. Real life comes from Shravana Kirtana. This is juice. Krishna Katha Amrita. Juice. The whole Krishna consciousness is Amrita, but within it, the real juice comes from Katha. Therefore, the last aphorism of Vedanta Sutra is also Anavritti Shabdat, liberation from Shabda. Anavritti Shabdat. Mukti, liberation from Shabda. So, ultimate reason of bondage is Shabda, and ultimate reason of Mukti is also Shabda. Therefore, this is Shrauta Pantha, the process of oral reception. We must submissive and faithful listening. Srila Prabhupada, many times he told that why he was favored by his Guru Maharaj, because he was a very good listener. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada would love that quality. Abhay Charan is a very good boy because he listens attentively. So through the listening, this whole Guru Shishya Parampara, the whole system of Krishna consciousness which has come down from Krishna, is through the Parampara, through hearing, the process of hearing and accepting the words from the Guru. Then we put into application through different services. But the most powerful method is hearing. So to be free from this problem of kāma-lobhādibhir malaiḥ, the cleansing process is hearing. Stop hearing nonsense. And few days back I saw one packet of some earphone company, they said there. Start music, stop world. Something like that there. Start music, stop world. So I was thinking, start Krishna Katha, stop the material world. So as soon as there is Krishna Katha, there is no material world. So as much as possible, fill your ears with Krishna Katha. Always remain in Krishna Katha. This is very practical. You can, when you do it, then you'll fill. But those devotees who are not doing Krishna Katha or hearing Krishna Katha, they will become weak day by day in spiritual life. Je lilamrito pan bine, khaye jodi anno pane, tabe bhaktir durbal jiban. Kaviraj Goswami says that in Madhya Lila. If you don't take this nectar, lilamrita, of Krishna Lila, of Gaur Lila, if you only survive your body by anna jal, water and rice and dal, sabji, then one day you will become weak. We think that this will give us strength. This will not give us strength. Strength will be received, can only be received by Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is the ultimate solution, hearing and chanting. Finally, we may do so many other things, but dharma sanushtita shapumsham vishrakshena kathashya notpadayad yadiratin shama eva hi kevalam. So finally, everything should be replaced by hearing and chanting. So when I was hearing that lecture, I felt like, of course, everyone has their own feelings, but I felt like Srila Prabhupada wanted, let us stop everything, just sit and hear. Whole day we hear Krishna Katha. Finish. This material, all pangs and anxieties are finished. Only Krishna Katha. So there should be Krishna Katha everywhere in the whole world. Then people are, so Krishna Katha is the ultimate replacement. We keep Krishna sometime in our life as a supplement. Supplement, okay, I have something, let Krishna be on top of it. Krishna is not there to be on top of it. Okay, like morning, very nice chanting, and then whole day, usually the karmi people, they do that. When you preach Krishna consciousness, they say, oh really? If I accept Krishna consciousness, I'll be happy? Okay, I'll accept it. Because they want happiness. They don't want Krishna. They want happiness. Therefore, they are ready to add Krishna in their life. Okay, I'm happy. Let me have another item. Krishna plus my separate agenda is called supplement. And there are some other people who think that, oh, there are so many problems in my life, and devotees are saying that if I keep Krishna, then my life will be nice. Then let me add Krishna. So that's complement. They are complementing, trying to complement with Krishna. But both of these things will not ultimately help. Krishna is not our part of life. Krishna is our very life. Krishna consciousness is our very life. So Krishna consciousness is not for supplement, nor even for complement. Ultimately, it's for replacement. We want to replace our material life with Krishna. So we have to always see whether Krishna consciousness is there on the priority list, on the top of the priority list, if Krishna is there. So we are trying to fit Krishna into our life. That's the problem. Even for a 40 years of practicing devotee, they are trying to fit Krishna into their life. That's not the solution. That is not going to make you ultimately blissful. Instead of fitting Krishna into your life, you should center your life around Krishna. One is fit somewhere into Krishna, and another is keep Krishna first. Then if you have some other place, you can keep things. But surrounded by Krishna. The center should be Krishna. It should all be directed towards Krishna. Not that somehow or other fit Krishna consciousness into something. Okay, for the whole day I'll remain like a materialistic, but for 2 hours I'll take my bit bag and I'll chant. Okay, then I've done. No, that's not going to solve the problem. Then mala will be there. Kāma-lobhādibhir mala will remain there. And man will not become shuddha. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hare. Is there any question or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for this enlivening class. I heard you speaking about knots, the plastic bag and the knot. And we all have some knot in our life that we can't untangle. So I was born a Roman Catholic. You mostly were born Hindu. Some people were born Muslim. But in every tradition you can find some saintly people that give you some knowledge. In our tradition we have, can you hear? In our tradition we have Our Lady of, it's called Antaya of Knots. So the principle that we are helpless, you can find everywhere. That we need some help from God to loosen this knot that is so entangled in our heart. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments or corrections? Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhakta ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Vansha Kalpatarusha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava.